Writer Pradeep Chakravarti and photographer Vikram Satyanathan must be congratulated for chronicling Thanjavur's contribution to the arts, be it painting, drama, music or literature. And to my knowledge, this book is the first that weaves all these threads together into one rich tapestry while setting it against a historical context. It's compulsory reading, especially for us South Indians. Tolerance, flourishing of the arts, artistic pursuits and the bountiful waters of the Kaveri. Thanjavur sounds like a veritable utopia. And when I told Pradeep that, and I told him that this conversation cannot happen without Vettalapakku because the Tanjorians practice the fine art of living. Look, he actually made arrangements for this.
But I can't tell you how to do it, Anu, it's all there in the book.
It's like an art, no? It's like the Japanese art of tea making.
Absolutely.
Though I think ours may be older,
yes.
the art of eating this. So, because you went through all the trouble, I'll eat one.
Okay.
So you have to do the talking now.
Sure. I think, like you said, it's the bounty of the Kaveri that really helped, and the tongue-in-cheek comment is that you should ask a Tanjorian how to spend money, while you should ask somebody from Tirunelveli how to earn money. But the point is that it is because of this kind of great harvest and that the average Tanjorian knows how to lead a great life. So if you look at the best antiques, some of the best artwork in South India, many of them actually come from Thanjavur. The Chola bronzes, of course, are world famous. Thanjavur had a fantastic tradition of metalware in terms of vessels, both out of brass, bronze and silver, and out of weapons as well. And it's very rare to find a Hindu armory in India, and Thanjavur is a great example. Textiles are absolutely fantastic because Thanjavur is probably the only district actually which had so many different varieties of weaves and of textiles. Then of course the tradition of Golu doll making, which we celebrate during Navaratri, hails from Thanjavur. The way that the Thanjavur artisan worked wood and ivory is also extremely unique, and many of the musical instruments that we have today, some of the best of them are made in the Thanjavur district. So many different things across many different mediums Thanjavur is famous for.
The richness of Thanjavur, from what many people come across is, to begin with, I would say it's from the Thanjavur paintings. The older ones, what you come across are what I've taken photographs of, were so rich, made of gold inlays, fantastic zari work, and so much of dedication by the then artists. I think that tradition has really continued for so many centuries now,
and
it is now becoming an
example
of South Indian tradition, so to speak. And also the watercolors that we came across at the Saraswati Mahal Library, and also the textiles, they were all made of natural dyes. Basically a lot of use of indigo and some local flowers they have used. This must have probably been about 300-400 years old. I still wonder if we still have the knowledge and the tradition of the textiles and the watercolors till today. Maybe we could go back to the Saraswati Mahal to trace our history in such fine textiles and watercolors, and probably begin a new school of reviving it. I hope the book would be a starting point.
Sparks of such an interest. Pradeep, can you tell us the difference between the styles in Thanjavur painting from the times of the Cholas, the Marathas and the Nayaks?
In the Chola period, I think the style was a lot more natural. There's a lot of emphasis on light and shade, so you could actually see depth in the painting. And lines were used in such a way to convey movement in the painting as well. So by the Nayak times, this becomes a little less detailed. There's a lot of more focus on narrative storytelling, and the lines become thicker, the figures don't become three-dimensional, they become two-dimensional. Thanjavur painting, as we know today, is really the Thanjavur school of painting is from the Maratha times, where they had this Mughal influence of inlaying the painting with precious stones and with gold foil as well. The later style, which is what I call the S. Rajam style, is of course by that great painter S. Rajam, where there's a lot more color, it's more mottled treatment, and the figures of the lines are also extremely sinuous. So unlike I think most of the places in India, or perhaps even the world, Thanjavur has an unbroken tradition of painting right from the 9th, 8th centuries right down to today, which is why that goes as the first chapter.
Yeah, the second chapter is about the painting, and then we talked about crafts. So now I think it's time to look at Thanjavur is the cradle for Carnatic music and also Bharatanatyam, because
Absolutely.
the Margam as we see today, the codification of the Bharatanatyam Margam, we can trace that back to Thanjavur.
That is correct. Carnatic music as we know it today was codified in Thanjavur during the Nayak period. So the raga system that we follow is from Thanjavur, and probably even today, but definitely till the 1950s and 60s, no self-respecting musician could have sat on a stage and performed an entire concert without even one song that had some reference to Thanjavur. Either the composer would have been brought up there, or the musician would have learnt it from someone who lived in Thanjavur, some connection like that. So that's the music part. Dance, like you said, Bharatanatyam as we know today was codified in Thanjavur. And I think the great thing is drama as well. Thanjavur, many villages, many small towns in Thanjavur, they had a practice of amateurs dancing and doing dramas as operas during different parts of the year. And many of our older film artists, Shivaji Ganeshan is a classic example, were all great actors because they came from Thanjavur and they were very clued into the play acting traditions of Thanjavur.
Vikram, tell us about the Bhagavata Mela.
What fascinated me among the dance and the drama tradition of Thanjavur is the Melathur Bhagavata Mela. It takes place for about 7 days every year in the month of May, and the event starts at around midnight and goes on till about 4 in the morning, all conducted by the local villagers. And the surprising fact for me was to discover that most of the dance drama of the Melathur Bhagavata Mela was either in Telugu or Marathi. And it's very unique to that region, and I'm sure there must have been so many dance drama events like this in the past, and it's only the Melathur Bhagavata Mela that is where the tradition is still continuing, and we should probably ensure that in the years to come for the future generations that these traditions are kept up, encouraged, and probably given a due form of support. That would probably ensure that the tradition continues for many years to come.
Yeah, that's exactly what we will be talking about after a short break, how to still more popularize and preserve these rich traditions of Thanjavur. We'd like your opinion on that, so stay tuned.